Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Cut to You design team, and I'm also solving case number 370 of the CSI challenge blog as well. The cut file I'm using today is the Shine Bright Builder page, and I love how this turned out. Can I say that about my own layout? I really do. It's a little bit different for me in terms of the colours that I've used. I've gone for a bit more of a pastel-y tone, which is not always something that I do, and I really love the softness of this layout. So I have off-camera backed the cut file, particularly the moon and the stars, with just a pattern paper on the moon, and I have backed the stars with some vellum as well, because I have some ideas around whether I'm going to use some sequins or something like that to give it a bit of a shiny sort of feel to it as well. So just to put a little bit of decoration, I guess, underneath the cut file and to give it some more depth across the page, I decided I'd add some Dina Wakley gloss spray in the colour Apricot. And I have just sprayed that across the page. I added a little bit of water to give it a little bit of movement across the page, but seeing it's an acrylic paint, it doesn't really like water that much. But I really like how this turned out. It looks a little bit dark in places at the moment. As it dried, I was starting to think, oh, it's getting a little dark, but most of those areas are covered up, and I do some white splatters later as well. Now I've added here some rub-ons to the page. Now, how old school are rub-ons? I can't believe they're back. But seriously, I cannot rave about these enough. These 49 Market rub-ons are so beautiful. They have got the most beautiful designs and they rub so beautifully and easily across any page. I was a little worried seeing I had a little bit of warping on my cardstock and the acrylic paint as to whether it would actually rub well, and there was absolutely no problem. It absolutely just ran over. The little palette knife that you get with them just ran over it beautifully. So I've just added random pieces from the rub-ons. There's all these areas that have got some writing and there's also some doilies that you can see there on the right hand side. And I've focused, this particular set has some apricot-y type colours and some of that darker, more fawny colours as well. So I've sort of mixed that in as across the page. And I bring the cut file back in and out just to make sure that I'm not completely going to cover up all those beautiful rub-ons, but I just want those rub-ons to ultimately be a little bit of a subtle feature around the page. So I do make a bit of a mistake. I'm not sure if I actually edited it out. I probably shouldn't, just to show you. But up on the top left, sort of in the middle there, I do put on a really dark piece and it doesn't work at all, but I have a solution to that when I show you my close-ups as well. So yeah, I can't recommend these enough, and it looked beautiful across the page and gave that really subtle view. So what I also did with the Shine Bright component of the cut file, I decided that I didn't back the letters, but I'm using the letters from what's left on my cut file mat. So I have off camera as well, because it took me a little while. I have covered them with gold embossing powder and made them all shiny and bright. So I thought that was perfect to go along there. So part of the challenge this month is obviously, if you saw the photo at the beginning there, it is sort of around Halloween, but I'm not a big, huge Halloween fan. Credit to everybody that is, but it's just not something I'm really into. I love seeing how people dress up and all that sort of stuff, but it's just not something I do. So I didn't really have any photos around Halloween and things like that. So what I decided to do was, my layout is really based on the colour palette that was in the actual photo prompt this month. So it gave a gold and a little bit of a beigey sort of colour and a muted orange, and so I thought that was perfect for what I was doing. I also grabbed some of the items in the evidence list as well. So this will be a strange one, I guess, but one was featuring a window. That's why I put the vellum behind the stars. I felt that was a bit of a window, and because you can see the background colours keep peeking through there, I thought that could give a lend back to the window prompt. Then I also had the gold elements, so that's the gold in the Shine Bright title there. And some cheesecloth is also on the list, and that comes into play as well. So one of the really good things about this Builder Page cut file is I did cut it out quite big, and it really gave a really great spot for where my photo was going to go. So this photo, I don't think I've talked about that, is one of my son, who's now 24. So it's a very long time ago. If you've seen any of my recent videos, there's a lot of me doing layouts at the moment of photos from a long time ago, when before digital. And so I found this, I've got a whole box of photos and photo albums that I've been going through, and I've decided that I'm going to just add to a few layouts over the next few months of some of the stuff from a long time ago. So I'm having lots of fun doing that. I have backed the photo with some pattern paper and also some tissue paper. I really like using that tissue paper. I got that idea from watching Missy Whitten, that amazing Missy Whitten, and it really does give a softer edge and gives that break between the pattern paper and the overall design as well. So I did actually, unfortunately, do a few things off camera for this particular layout. Like most of the time, I do a layout and I come back to it later and think, there's something missing. So what was missing for this one was there's cheesecloth listed in the evidence list. So what I did, I had some muslin here in my stash, and I actually add muslin across the moon, and it gives it a really whimsical feel around the moon, which you'll see in the close-ups. So I then added, so that comes later, obviously. So to finish off the page, I added some sequins that I found in my stash. I don't actually have a lot of sequins in my stash, and so many people use them and they look so amazing, but it's never really been something I've done a lot. But I think I'm going to do it a little bit more. I think I might need to have an order somewhere to get some more sequins in my stash. These sequins are the perfect match of colour. They had some little apricot-y colours and a little bit of tone of pink as well, and some goldy colours as well. I had considered doing shaker pockets under those stars, but no, I decided I'd just put the sequins behind it. The file was a little bit too thin, and I thought the stars were a little bit too small to make that, and it would have taken me forever, so I decided not to do that. But I really like how this turned out with the sequins across the page like that on the left and the bottom side as well, to give that real true left to right, or right to left if you want to call it like that, that diagonal shape that I love so much when I do my scrapbooking. So let's talk about Cut to You. So Cut to You, I will leave you some links in the description box of the store, and where you can actually get a link straight to this actual design as well. There is a scrapbook group as well, which we would all love you to join. It's a great group. Everyone shares their layouts that they're doing, and it's a really fun group to be in. Make sure you share. We love to see it. I can't tell you how much we love seeing everyone using the cut files. Gwen is fantastic with how she designs her cut files, and she has brand new cut files every month as well. I am using one that's a little bit older, but I just loved this one and thought it was going to work perfectly with my layout today. So I'm going to leave you with some close-ups and a shot of the final layout. I hope in some way I have inspired you. Oh, there's that darker bit that I was talking about that I put there. So yes, how I solved that was the insides of the stars that were on my cut mat. I actually inked that up with the spray as well, and I placed those around the page just for some added dimension around the page as well. And you can see that in my close-ups. So thank you so much for joining me. I would love it if you liked and subscribed. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for stopping by.